right, welcome to First and Faloney. This is the Week 7 episode. I am Donovan Faloney, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Cooper, and we do have a special guest this week. We have Elise Rose on the call here. How's it going, guys?
What's happening?
Good.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get some housekeeping out of the way. We'll start with our records. Nothing changed. Both Andrew and I went 8-2 last week. We split one of the games, and then we both lost the Utah-UCLA game. 47-13 is my record, and 43-17 is his record. Still pretty close, still pretty good, and way better than the average analyst. So I think we're doing pretty well there. We'll go ahead and get started here with the first segment, as we always do. Game of the week. Andrew, did you have a game of the week last week? All right, can you say that one more time? You lost connection there a little bit.
I'm gonna go NC State, Florida State.
NC State, Florida State. Yes, that was a pretty good one. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I was watching wrestling. I'm not going to be ashamed of it, but Elise did watch it as well. And I've heard from different sources, Elise and Libby and you, that Florida State was taking a lot of injury timeouts there throughout the game.
Oh, yeah. You know how they do.
Yeah, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. But NC State gets the win, and while we're waiting for Andrew to connect, did you have a game of the week there, Elise?
Yeah, so I had two that I couldn't decide between. The Alabama, Texas A&M, and then BYU, Notre Dame. I would have loved to see Alabama lose. Unfortunately, they didn't.
It was bad play
but I thought it
call
was
at the
pretty
end
cool
of the
that Notre
game.
Dame. Yeah, but I thought it was pretty cool that Notre Dame rallied to beat BYU. So
Yeah, so it looks like Notre Dame is back to being under Marcus Freeman. Looks like they're ready to go. They beat a great BYU team that some people, some of the podcasts I listened to, had them even in the college playoffs. So, we have that possibility there
Have
too.
who?
Say what?
Have who in the playoff?
BYU. There's some people that had BYU in the playoff.
The Storming Mormons? Nah.
Yeah, so I don't know there, but if I had to pick a game of the week, I think Texas Tech, Oklahoma State was good. I don't know what it is, but I love the Texas Tech head coach. Before the game, found out that the starting quarterback was going to be the true freshman. He found out literally moments before the game, and he came out, threw the ball 60 times, completed over half of his passes. Threw for his first drive, he threw a touchdown that was just only his receiver could get it. It was beautiful. Oklahoma State did come out with the win. Spencer Sanders is now number 2 on the most winning games as a starting quarterback for Oklahoma State. And then, of course, I love to see Brian Kelly get his butt down in Baton Rouge. So to see Tennessee beat LSU, I think was up there as well. And then seeing your boy Quinn Ewers, go crazy coming back from an injury there. Okay, so I didn't have the next segment we always do is Bambard Kick of the Week. I didn't have any
I do have
missed kicks.
I do. I do. It's not missed kicks, but field goal kicker of the week goes to Christopher Dunn. 4 for 4.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
4 for 4, and he kept NC State in that game, believe it or not. That in the defense.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, anytime a kicker, especially a college kicker, can go 4 for 4, that's a win in my book there for sure. Apologies, guys.
The longest field goal he had was 52 yards too.
Yeah, I mean that's very impressive as well. Apologies, guys. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties, so once again, we'll get it set up better for next week as well. But yeah, anytime a kicker can go 4 for 4, I think that's a win, especially a college kicker. Pretty big deal there. Did you have the Bambard kick of the week, Elise? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so I had a field goal. Does that count?
Yep.
Okay. So, it's interesting that Illinois is back they've crept up and they actually beat Iowa for the first time since 2008. And they had their backup walk-on kicker come out in the fourth quarter for a 36-yard field goal to help win the game, just before they got an interception to essentially beat Iowa. So
Yeah.
that's my kick.
Yeah, Illinois, pretty good team. That's why I have them this week. That's why I wanted them to come on the game picks. We actually have them for later on. Illinois is undefeated. I believe they're undefeated, or they've only lost one of the two. But they have the number 3 rush defense in the country, and that's Brent Bielema right there. Like that's his style of play. So okay, so the next we were going to talk about playoff predictions. I didn't have anything changing for that, but I did want to give up updated Heisman odds, and this is kind of like a last minute thing for you guys. But right now, CJ Stroud is leading the way. Hendon Hooker is number 2, Caleb Williams number 3, and Bryce Young number 4. Is there anybody else who you would add in that conversation?
I gotta throw Spencer Sanders in there.
Yeah, I wanted to throw him in there. I was going to say Quinn Ewers, especially after I know he was out 2 games, but I mean Texas is a whole different team with him there.
Oh my God, dude! Yeah.
So that's who we would have as well. Do you have any favorites there, Elise? Anybody you would pick for Heisman that's not named Anthony Richardson?
No, I mean, I think you covered the list pretty good. I don't really see
Yeah.
anyone else standing out.
There's one running back I'd put on there, Blake Corum from Michigan. I mean, that offense runs on him. If he doesn't get going, Michigan's offense is not good. Which is a shame because they should be. I mean, they're getting all the recruits. They have a good coach. They haven't played anybody. So, and Indiana was whipping their butts up until the third quarter last week. So, okay. So next we wanted to talk about a little bit of buy or sell. This will be a new segment we'll have on maybe every week, every other week. I'll throw out a couple names, whether it's a coach, a player, a team, and buy it if you like it. Are you buying into the hype, or are you going to sell it? You're not feeling it as of right now. First, we'll talk about the undefeated UCLA, who still can't sell out a home stadium, but they're 5-0 under Chip Kelly this year, and essentially just destroyed Utah last week. You guys buy or sell them?
I was gonna say sell, but
You're going to say sell. Okay. Do you have a reason why you'd sell them, or are you just not sure of them yet?
I think it's too early to say, and I also don't think that they have a strong enough schedule to really be like ranked as high as they are.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Andrew?
I'm buying.
You're buying into them?
I think Chip Kelly. Yep. I think Chip Kelly is getting back to his Oregon days, and I think Dorian Thompson is right now being a good signal caller. He's being I guess you could say the captain of that team, making some great plays, great throws. Defense is actually playing pretty good for the West Coast as well, so I'm buying.
Yeah, so I have to agree with you as well. I think he surpassed Cam Rising this last week of the second best quarterback in the Pac-12. I think DTR is even starting to throw his name in the Heisman if they do well this week, especially. So we'll see how they go. They still got a tough schedule coming up. Chip Kelly, I would love to see that Oregon offense again at a different place. I just hope that he gets a better job than UCLA because the fans deserve to have, he deserves to have fans with that style of football. Next, we'll go to the SEC. What about Arkansas? Arkansas has lost 2 in a row. And if you remember a couple weeks ago, I said that they have potential to lose 4 in a row. So are you buying into Arkansas or are you selling them after last week's performance?
Uh, I'm selling. It's kind of like a case of Miller. Like I'm selling. Don't want nothing to do with them.
You don't
I
want to have a
think with
cold
the
beer anymore
quarterback
with the
struggles right
coach?
now with Jefferson, no, I still would like to have a cold beer with him. I mean, John Daly also goes to the game, so why not?
Yeah.
No, I'm unfortunately I'm selling. I just think they're having. I don't know if they're giving up. I just don't know. The defense is kind of. I don't know what's happened to them. Quarterback battle. Yeah, I'm so they're sold.
Are you selling as well, Elise?
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. Um,
Nothing.
so
Yeah. KJ Jefferson has not performed the way that everybody thought he would, unfortunately. And I was a fan of his last year. I told you guys at the beginning of the season I saw 8-4, 9-3 record for Arkansas. I wasn't, I was on the hype train, man. With the way they were winning the first couple games, I was on the hype train. But I've jumped off that hype train on the SEC, and I've jumped on another one we'll talk about later on. Um, so we'll just go over 2 more here, and then we'll get into the picks because we do have a couple good games, and I'd love to hear some more talk on that. First one, Texas Tech head coach. We won't talk about, but I think we're all buying his stock with what he's doing with the team. He's done well. Andrew and I have talked about him the last couple of weeks that we would love to have him as a coach with what he's done with Texas Tech. We'll go with Notre Dame. Notre Dame has now won 3 or 4 in a row. They just beat a great BYU team at Allegiant Stadium, so it wasn't even at home. Michael Mayer is still one of the best pass catchers, if not the best pass catcher in college football at the tight end position. What are your guys' thoughts?
Elise can go first.
um, I a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, like is Notre Dame back?" Like I don't know if they're back yet. I think that they're getting there, but I don't think that I can buy into them yet.
Not so fast, my friend. I'm buying all day long. Only reason why I'm buying is because I think they're finally playing for Marcus Freeman. I think Freeman's finally got a good game plan going, and I think that they're starting to buy into what he's trying to bring to the program. We all know first year coaches are going to have some bumps in the roads. There, it's hard not to throw him the ball. I would say he's one of the best. I got to go with Brock Bowers from UGA as far as the tight end position goes. But them two are definitely the top 2
1-2
tight ends that I've
for
seen in the
sure.
league. But I'm buying. Oh,
Yeah,
without a
no,
doubt.
I'm buying all the way. I think Andrew hit it right on the nose there that they're finally playing for Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman, I believe he got baptized last week before the game to become the full Catholic for their university. Manti Te'o has been around ever since the Cal game, which I think brings. I mean, he's a Notre Dame legend, maybe their best middle linebacker to ever go to that school. So I think the feeling around town is that they're back. Drew Pine is slinging the pigskin around. They got a great running back. Defense is solid. We'll see the rest of the year. They got some tough games with UNC and USC coming up here, and Clemson as well. Clemson is coming up too in the next couple of weeks, so that'll be a fun game. Andrew will be turning in his red for some green and blue, I think, for that week, and be cheering for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish all day long there. And then the last one for a buy
They
and
already
sell
played
segment.
UNC.
Oh yeah, they did. I'm sorry. You're right. For some reason I thought that was at the end of the game, or end of the year. And then the last one for buy and sell, we'll go with the University of Florida star player Anthony Richardson. He's one of the NFL's top prospects. He can throw the ball a million miles an hour. He can run like the wind. Do you buy in him as one of the top, we'll say 10 quarterbacks, we'll say 5 quarterbacks, one of the best 5 quarterbacks in college football right now?
I'm selling.
You're selling? I'm selling
Yep.
as well, but we'll let Elise get her piece in.
Well, you didn't say top 5.
Well,
So
make your case. Make your case for buying him.
I think I think he could be in the top 10. I think that he's a young player. I think he has a lot of potential and it just needs to be honed in.
Yep.
And I think that Billy Napier is showing himself to be a great coach so far this season. I think he's going to be great for the team. And I think that, partnership with Richardson there, like, I think that there's just a lot of potential. So I'm excited, especially for next season, because I think,
He won't be there.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, I think he has potential. So I'd
Yeah,
buy.
I would say I was on the fence with this one. I want to go ahead.
No, man. No, I will say.
Oh, looks like he dropped again. Well, what I was gonna say was I'm selling right now, solely because he hasn't performed up to his potential. You don't know. I don't want to say he hasn't performed up to his potential. You just don't know which Anthony Richardson you're gonna get, and that's the key, right? Like which Anthony Richardson is gonna be coming under center. If it's the one that beat Utah, I mean, I'm buying all day. But if it's the one that played South Florida, I'm not. Or the one that played Kentucky, I'm not. So it kind of just depends on which Anthony Richardson shows up for the game. And that's just where I'm at there.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, you back with us? Yep, a little bit there.
Yeah, I'll have to agree or stick up with Elise on this. Hear me out. Only because he is playing in the SEC, and they do see some top-notch defenses, and they also play very good.
Oh, looks like he dropped again. I know out where he lives doesn't have very much service, guys. So bear with us here while we wait for him to connect. But I think we're all on the fence there with it. You may be a little biased, but as expected for being a University of Florida fan. When he gets back in, we'll go over with the picks here. So let's give it 1 second. While we do that, I had the 2 other buys and sells, and we'll go through them quick. Just give me 1 2-word answers for it. Alabama, you buying or selling? Oh, there he is.
Selling.
Yeah. Well, let me try this again. No, I mean, he does play some pretty good defenses. So
right.
I got to say, I mean, I do stand with him on that. He's got to show me a little bit more before I can go all in and invest on that.
Yeah. No, I think we're all in agreement there. I think it's like it all depends on which Anthony Richardson shows up. So okay, so let's go ahead and get into the picks. We got about 20 minutes left. So we'll go through a couple of these games. In no particular order that I sent you guys in, but we'll just go ahead and start. We'll start with one of the games that we kind of already mentioned at the beginning of the show. Minnesota at Illinois. Minnesota is favored by 6.5 points. I'll go ahead and take the lead on this one. I'm picking Illinois. I know they're big underdogs here, but they have the number 3 ranked defense. Ibrahim's going to be back, which kind of scares me for Minnesota because that's their best player and they're a different team with them. But I think Bielema's run defense and with him just coming back from an injury, I'm picking Illinois to win this one.
Same.
Yep.
Okay, I thought I would be the only one, so we're all in agreement there. Okay. Next one, we'll go ahead with the classic basketball matchup here. We have UNC at Duke. I know this would be Andrew's favorite game, and he hopes that they both lose. But UNC is favored by 7 points right now. Duke has lost 2 in a row, I believe, as well.
I really don't like picking these games because I really do not like both universities at all. But I need to get my winning percentage up, and unfortunately, I got to take the Tar Heels in this one pretty big.
Same.
Elise?
UNC.
Yeah, we're all picking UNC on this one. I had Duke initially, but then realizing that they've lost the last 2, if UNC gets any kind of lead on them, Duke's offense isn't there. Duke has a great defense, but their offense can't compete. I think UNC's defense is finally going to be just below average, which will help them out in the future. So they might be a threat in the ACC going forward, but I'm with you guys there as well. We'll go to another. We'll go to the Big 12 on this one. We have Oklahoma State at TCU. TCU is favored by 3.5 points.
I'm not going first.
I'll go first, and I'm picking Oklahoma State. And they might be a homer pick, but if they play like last week, TCU's gonna kick their butts. But if they play like they've done the whole season up to that point, I think it's gonna be a barn burner. I think it's gonna be a shootout, and I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch. But I'm picking OSU. Sorry, Oklahoma State. Go Pokes.
And of course, you're biased there, but I am gonna have to pick TCU. Sorry about
it.
Ooh, the horny frogs.
Mm-hmm.
This really, really got me on edge now.
Because you're gonna pick TCU too. I saw your smirk when I was going for it because I knew what you were gonna say. Go ahead.
No. I think TCU's luck's getting ready to run out. I think it's going to be too much Spencer Sanders, but they better be on the gas all game long because TCU's defense is pretty tough. So if he makes a few mistakes, TCU's blowing it wide open.
Yeah,
so I'm picking Oklahoma State though.
So Oklahoma State, their defense is actually really good as well. They just last week that Texas Tech just had their number. And I mean they stopped Baylor, who's a great offense. Like it's one of those things. It's whoever gives up whoever punts the ball first might lose. I mean, like let's be honest, whoever has more punts in the game is going to lose that one. So we have 2 OSUs and 1 TCU. Trouble in the Fort Myers house here down in Florida. Just kidding, of course. We'll go ahead and we'll stay in the SEC. Kind of. We'll go Arkansas at BYU. Arkansas is favored by 1.5 points. This is the game that, for me, I had not picked until about 10 minutes before the show starting. Of course, it's a coin flip game, but we'll go ahead and let Elise go first here on this one.
I pick BYU just because I don't buy into Arkansas.
Yep. Andrew?
I really want to drink a beer with Coach Pittman, but I just don't think the quarterback struggles right now. Unfortunately, I have to pick BYU. I think BYU is going to bounce back this weekend.
So the last time BYU lost, they had a pretty good game the next week. I think that continues. I think the quarterback troubles as well. KJ Jefferson not performing, whatever it may be. Remember a couple weeks ago, I said the next 4 games for Arkansas could be all losses. They got BYU and Mississippi State next week. If they do not win this game, Mississippi State and Will Rogers are going to run all over them. And Brandon Walker from Barstool Sports is going to be a head case. If you listen to podcasts, Unnecessary Roughness, great podcast, guys. But it's just, I'm going BYU as well. BYU across the board for all of us. So we'll see what happens, but that should be another good game. which BYU showing up, and this could tell us how good Notre Dame actually was as well. If Notre Dame, if BYU blows them out, then we know Notre Dame is back, pretty much, using college football logic. Couple other games here. We're running through these pretty quickly, but I'm saving a couple of them to the end here. We want to go next to Mississippi State at Kentucky. Mississippi State is favored by 7. We just talked about Will Rogers. He threw 6 touchdowns. I believe it was last week, if not the week before. They crushed. Who they play last week? Kentucky without Will Levis. Or no, they play Kentucky this week. I don't remember who they played last week. We picked them. It was Texas. It was Mississippi State. Or who was it last week? Was it Arkansas last week? Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it was Arkansas.
Maybe I'm wrong then next week when whoever Arkansas plays. But anyways, regardless, I love Will Rogers. I think he's maybe 6 or 7 in the Heisman race right now. They had that devastating loss to LSU, unfortunately, earlier this year. And if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be trouble. It would have been trouble in paradise in the SEC for Alabama.
Yeah, I'm picking Mississippi State.
Mississippi State?
Yeah, and Kentucky didn't look good last week. So
they didn't have Will Levis. Will Levis was hurt. It looks like he might be back this week.
Give me the cowbells.
That still doesn't change. Yeah, that still doesn't change my pick though.
Yeah, cowbells. So we're all Mississippi State there as well. So far we've only differed on one game. We'll go ahead and West Coast game. This game I thought would have been a lot higher up in potential game day situation. USC at Utah. Utah is favored by 3.5 points. I think solely because they're at home. Caleb Williams has been on fire with USC. Lincoln Riley's having a great showing in his first year. What do you guys think?
I'll go first. I don't care. I'm taking Utah. I think Cam Rising bounces back, and I think he finally torches this USC defense that I don't think is all that great.
Yep. Elise?
I struggled with this one. I don't want to change last minute, so I'm going to stick with USC.
USC? Okay, so we all differed on that one. I'm going with Andrew. Last time Utah lost, they beat FCS school by 70 points. Not saying that that's going to happen this week, but USC's defense relies on turnovers, and Cam Rising doesn't seem to turn over the ball. I think if it was at USC,
I'm picking USC if it's at the Coliseum.
Because it's in Utah, I'm going with Utah. I've been riding with them all year. I don't think I have, which is good or bad for that. So who knows there? And then we'll go back to the ACC for this one. NC State at Syracuse. Syracuse is favored by 3.5 points. Do we know if Devin Leary is playing this game? His x-rays were negative, but they were waiting on his MRI. I didn't know if you've heard about that yet or
not. From what I understand, it's rehabable, and it can be anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. But I also don't know if Dorn's trying to play a head game with Dino Babers right now, trying to get them to prepare for the backup or Devin Leary. So that's about the most I've gotten out of it. We do get Devin Carter back this week. Possibly Trent Penix, the tight end that we lost in the ECU game. And, because we need some hands. And we also get Demisumo Karnbe back this week, too. So that's the news on the injury report there.
So you think NC State wins it?
No, Syracuse wins. It depends on what quarterback. Like I said, I like Jack Chambers, did really well at Charleston Southern. He managed the game very well against Florida State. Very proud of him coming out there, especially after the ACC preseason player of the year goes down. But to me, NC State can't run the damn ball, and the
Yeah.
receivers can't catch. So I don't know.
Well, you get the
can't
tight end
see.
back. That'll help Devin Leary out a lot because he was a huge target in the first week.
That if he's back, but I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know if they're gonna sub in and out. I don't know. Nobody knows. But
Yeah.
I believe the Carrier Dome is sold out. Last I heard, but if we don't have Devin Leary, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yep. Elise?
Agreed.
Syracuse?
Yep.
Yeah, we're all on Syracuse. I think if it was at Carter Finley, that would have swayed me, regardless of quarterback. Just because I know how that place gets, and I mean, we talked about it, Andrew, offline, but that's the only reason why NC State won last week was because it was at home.
Without a doubt, the defense after Isaiah Moore lit a fire under all their asses finally got it together in the second half.
That the NC State defense shows up and doesn't miss another week. Like, I don't know, but the Carrier Dome gets rocking. They have a good running back. I mean, Syracuse is undefeated. Like, it just all lines up. I'm picking Syracuse, cheering for NC State. That's just 100%. Is what it is. We'll go back down to the SEC for this one as well. We'll go LSU at Florida. Florida is favored by 2.5. They are at the Swamp. That's kind of like another home field advantage for them as well. I can't pick Brian Kelly, so I'm going Florida. I think Anthony Richardson has a game because every time he doesn't have a game, he comes back. And he's actually been pretty consistent over the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to stick with Florida there.
Well, oh boy, let's see. Yeah. I believe the Tigers are going to be Gator bait this weekend. I really hope so. I think Richardson shows up. You're in the Swamp. Saturday night game. Saturday night, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Saturday night. I think Billy Napier's will get them fired up because it is LSU, and I think Florida wins by at least 10.
Oh. All right. Elise, do we even have to ask you for this one? Or are you going to just start singing Tom Petty here going into the fourth quarter?
Won't back down. No, I mean, I think having been in many a night game in the Swamp, it is a huge advantage. And I think Anthony Richardson is going to show up. And I think the Tigers are going to be Gator bait, like Andrew said. So.
All right. We're all in agreement there. Once again, we've only disagreed on 2 games so far. Both only disagreeing with Elise, so we'll see how that goes. We'll go to the Big Ten here for this one. Penn State at Michigan. Michigan is favored by 7. It is at the Big House, 3:30 game. I believe it is 3:30. This is another hometown game here for Elise. Family ties to Big Blue. Excuse me, sorry. Had something caught in my throat there. I'll go ahead and go first on this one. I think Michigan are posers this year because their offense can't get it together. If Blake Corum shows up, my mouth will be shut because they'll win. But if Penn State can stop the running game, Sean Clifford is a good enough quarterback to beat that defense, even though it's at the Big House. If it was a night game, maybe a little different. But I'm a believer in Penn State. And I think Sean Clifford, Penn State's quietly going under the radar and winning some really, really good games. I like the backup quarterback if Sean Clifford gets hurt. Joey Porter on the outside on defense. McCarthy's not going to be able to throw the ball. So I'm going Penn State, and I'm actually going to go to say Penn State by 10.
Bold statement, Cotton. I'll let Elise go.
Well, I picked Michigan. I think I I do agree with you that, Michigan needs to get their act together a little bit and that they're kind of overranked at this point in the season. But I think with it, if they show up, and I think with it being at the big house, I think that they can win it. So
Yeah, I don't see it. Michigan struggled last week, I think it was.
They've
Who'd they play
struggled
last
every
week?
week. Indiana.
Yeah, they struggled last week against Indiana.
They struggled against Iowa. They only scored 27
Yeah.
on Iowa.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long day for John Harbaugh.
I mean,
Or
they
Jim
should
Harbaugh.
be. It's frustrating because they should be a lot better than they are. Like, they have so much better players. They have such a good defense. They got top 2 or 3 running back in NCAA. Like, why aren't they scoring? Why are they letting lesser teams stick with them? So So we differ there. At Michigan, I hope that they show up so they can get ready to lose to Ohio State later on. I think Penn State does it. 2 minutes left. Game day is going back to Knoxville, Tennessee for the Bama at Tennessee game. Bama is still favored by 7.5 points. I'm going to go last on this one. But Elise, why don't you go ahead and take the honors here for SEC football? Are you a believer?
it's just so hard with Bryce Young still being questionable at this point. I really would love to see Tennessee beat Alabama, but I just don't know if I can pick Tennessee. So I really am struggling with this one. I think I have to pick Alabama, unfortunately.
All right,
What did
Mr.
she
Cooper.
just say? I choked on my dip. What did she say?
She picked Alabama.
I heard her clearly what she said. That is not happening. Tennessee, Knoxville is going to go crazy. Smokey is going to run all over Bama. I got the Volunteers, and the Volunteers are jumping into the top 4. And yep, they're sticking with it.
What did they say?
Hendon Hooker is too good right now.
Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. We'll do the headgear this game. I am with Tennessee as well. I am riding the Tennessee hype train. I think they win against Alabama, and I think they win pretty handedly. Hendon Hooker for Heisman. This is his Heisman game. So it's up to them. So really quickly, guys, because we have less than a minute left, some locks of the week. I have Penn State +7. Half points. Tennessee +7.5. Kansas, Oklahoma over 62.5 points, and Minnesota and Illinois over 39.5 points. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Elise, for being our guest picker here for our show. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We'll get it figured out for next week. Thank you guys for always watching, share, like, comment, be a friend, tell a friend, and spread the word, guys. All right, we will see you next week.